Power women out there. Of course, we are celebrating women on all scopes. Now, today on the show, we begin with an interview with George Njoroge, who is the chairman of the Kenya racing team. Of course, there's a lot to talk about that. We have the Lioness Rally, which is coming up on the 27th of March, an all-women's rally. And George had a lot to say regarding the racing, rather women in rallying in Kenya.
Racing is very good, and also to understand it is very easy. Yeah, I've offered myself to train, and I'll continue with this as long as I make sure women have come back into the sports, and also even the young ones, they are welcome. As I mentioned earlier, during the day we are just introducing what we call an academy, and I think the CS for Sports, Honorable Amina Mohammed, we're going to support us through our federation and through Mr. Phineas Kimathi, where we want to put up an academy at the Kasarani Stadium behind where we host the Triple S track, and I think after that, we'll get more and more trainees. We're welcoming everybody, even men. Yeah, we're going to have lessons for navigation, yeah, safety, everything, anything in the motorsports discipline. Yeah.
Talking about the Lioness, and you mentioned an important point, that is training. Most of them are very proud of the fact that they have been through your hands in their heydays in racing. That is for the older generation of, rally fraternity among the women. When we talk about training, just guide us through what is needed to grow a proper, rally driver, rally navigator, among others involved in rally.
Well, that's a question. One thing, people fear this one because it's a very expensive event. Yeah, just to come to say you're a driver, you have to get a racing car, which is so expensive. What we're doing to start with, we have people who are donating cars to us to start with. As we grow up, maybe when they get sponsors, maybe they can come. I'll show them the way how to get a car, a nice car to start with. You don't have to buy a very expensive car to start with. First is for trainings, and also maybe you enter one of the autocross events, or what now we are calling the crabman events, which will come back for this year calendar. We have about 5 or 6 events for the crabmans, which means the crabman event you can enter with a car which is not homologated. Yeah, so it will ease your expenses, as in comparing to doing a Kenya National, where you have to have a homologated car. Also in navigation is just what basics are for, let's say, control signs. Yeah, how to do a time card. Yeah.
You have mentioned, to do with the homologation and non-homologation, and right behind us is a very beautiful VW, and there's that mentality out here that there's just specific cars that are made for speed that can actually rally. And talking about this car, it's quite an old car, and somebody can't imagine that this type of car used to race years back. What can you say about what goes into the cars that can race, and the specifics, that is?
Well, when we mention homologation, it's like an expiry of a car. There are those cars which used to race like the one you're saying now behind. This car can do what now we call classic. Those are the cars which were manufactured before the year 1974. So they are classified as classic cars. Then from there now we come to like now what we have the Evo 10s and what. Those are cars of the let's say 20. From there, those are homologated cars. But before that, like the Subaru GC8, now you can't race without the homologation expired. So classics in the Kenya National Rally Championship, they are also classes, yeah, from the Group N down all the way to 2-wheel drives, and also the classics. So it's classified that way, yeah.
When we talk about rallying being a male-dominated sport, do you agree to this particular notion?
I would agree on this one. It's not only male-dominated. First of all, I'd like to thank Michelle Muton, who used to race here in Kenya, and also she's resigned now as a safety delegate for FIA. And I think this week she mentioned something about women and said this month, the month of March, is a month for women in motorsports. So women will come up. Also, we have our champ, Nani, what's her name? Forgetting the name. A navigator. And she won last year's title. Ayuko, Ayuko, I've raced with Ayuko when we won our championship. Way back in 2015, I think. She was my navigator, and I trained her. So by the end of the day now, she has come also to win another championship as a navigator. So women, I know they can do also much better than men.
Right now we have a very young crop of upcoming drivers, and speaking about what is it that we can do to increase the numbers, especially when we talk about ladies in the sport?
Well, to increase the numbers here, it's maybe women, they don't know where to start with, and they don't know where we started with. That's why we are coming up now, like the Lionesses, to start introducing this, so that we welcome more women to come and join. We are not discriminating. Even the young ones, the 10-year-old, Akina Kiana Rajput, so I think she'll be there in this coming event. So all the young ones, everybody, let's have it like women in racing for the 27th.
A lot has been said by George Njoroge there, and a lot of rally drivers have been under his tutelage. Now, moving on to some of the English Premier League action from yesterday. Tottenham produced a 5-star showing in the English Premier League as Harry Kane scored twice in a 5-0 thrust.